David Des Roches is an associate professor at the Near East South Asia Centre at the National Defence University, and he joins us live from Washington. David, welcome. So today's developments that we've seen, we've seen talk that Syria's ability to respond to these strikes by Israel has been greatly diminished. The country's in a position where it is weakened. We see division between the new authorities and minority groups. What exactly is your read on what Israel is doing here?
I'm not quite sure. It's difficult to figure it out because it appears that Israel's ability to forge an eventual peace with Syria is being compromised by these actions. Historically, analytically, when you size up a potential adversary, you look at capability and intention. With Israel, they generally have focused on capability and assume that intention can shift because of regime change, assassination, revolutions. So that explains the initial wave of Israeli attacks against Syrian weapons and aircraft and such after the fall of Assad. This seems to be a step beyond that. I think that there are a number of possible analytical scenarios. One could be that Israel has decided that al-Jolani either is not what he says he is, or that his position is so tenuous that he's in a position to be overthrown rather quickly, and that what overthrows him could be hostile to Israel. The second, of course, is that Israel might be seeking to establish a Druze-led sort of buffer state between the Syrian government and Israel. That seems to be a possibility. But it's still too early to know what's going on. But I think that Israel would not take these steps lightly. There's clearly a calculus there that is disturbing Israel and might be disturbing all of us.
And David, how do you think the Trump administration will deal with this? I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we saw Donald Trump lift sanctions on Syria. He's made it quite clear that he is keen for peace and stability in the region. I mean, how much of a test will this potentially be for the US president in the way that he does deal with it?
Yeah, it depends on what the assessment is that the Israelis have and if they can convince him of them. If the assessment is that Jolani is either not what we thought he was or is on the verge of being overthrown, then I think they will go along with that. If there's something else where there's just a disagreement between the United States and Israel, or if Israel is trying to fundamentally alter the effective sovereignty of the Syrian government, there's the possibility for some conflict there. And, we have seen Trump losing patience with Netanyahu over certain things, and Trump and Netanyahu having out of the spotlight disagreements over things like, nuclear negotiations with Iran. This may be another area here that could lead to tensions between the two countries.
And David, after today's events, where we've witnessed Israel violating international law, striking deep inside Syrian territory, this of course comes after breaching international law in Gaza and the occupied West Bank and Lebanon. Why is Israel able to act with such impunity, and where does it stop?
Well, it's not generally accepted in the United States that they're breaching international law in all of the actions that they're taking. I think the question here is more, people will argue over that. I think you look at the policy thing. The question is, does Israel want to live in peace with Syria? If it does, it's hard to see, unless there's a very, very overwhelming threat, how an attack in the heart of Damascus will lead to a road to reconciliation. So one would hope that there was a very definitive threat, a rather imminent threat towards Israel, and that they will make that case publicly. Otherwise, it would seem that this would be a dysfunctional policy choice for Israel and ultimately for the region.
David Des Roches, Associate Professor, Near East South Asia Centre at the National Defence University. Thank you so much for your time and analysis.